World leaders condemned overnight Russian air attack on Kyiv as death toll rises to 21. Also, if you like what I do, consider donating because I want to go to Ukraine as soon as possible. I want to go back to Ukraine as soon as possible, okay? As I'm toughening myself up through psychiatrists, okay? Please consider throwing some dollars my way. All right? Will you consider? Let's see. Let's watch this.
I am at the scene of yet another deadly Russian attack on the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. Behind me, search and rescue operations are underway as rescue workers look to try and find potentially more people trapped under the rubble. Dozens of casualties reported here in Kyiv.
Look at that.
Including several children among the fatalities. That number of dead continues to slowly rise throughout the day. Now, the Ukrainian authorities say that Russia launched 598 drones, 11 ballistic missiles and 20 cruise missiles onto Ukrainian territory. Among those buildings that were targeted was a building belonging to the European Union delegation here in Kyiv. That has drawn strong criticism
Very
from
interesting.
the Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski, saying that Russia was mocking the European Union and President Trump's peace efforts in Ukraine. Now, President Zelensky has released a statement this morning calling out Hungary and China by name, asking for more response, more pressure put on Russia to stop attacks like this. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
We expect a reaction from China to what is going on. China has repeatedly called for not expanding the war and for a ceasefire. Yet this is not happening because of Russia. We expect a reaction from Hungary. The death of children should definitely stir far greater emotions than anything else. We expect a response from everyone in the world who has called for peace, but now more often stays silent rather than taking principled positions.
That is the unfortunate reality. Hungary does not care. Hungary will never care, at least not until Orban is in charge. China is silently aiding Russia, so that's definitely not something that will happen. Trump has openly said that he cannot do anything about the attacks on the cities. Trump has openly said that he cannot do anything about bombing Ukrainian civilians. So, of course, the response will be lackluster. Of course, people will just be outraged, but nothing will come of it. That is the brutal reality of the situation. Russia is pretending to want peace, pretending to take part in negotiations only to stall, and in the meantime, increasingly bomb cities with increasing brutality.
So there is understandably a lot of anger here in Kyiv following Russia's overnight attacks.
I think more than just Kyiv. I think people should be angry more than just in Ukraine. People especially in neighboring countries to Russia should be angry. But I feel that anybody that has any semblance of humanity in them should be angry at what's happening with this whole peace negotiation crap, with this. I have had so many people tell me that Trump has made a difference, that Trump has pushed the process forward, that he has put things into motion, that he has broken an impasse. But what is the reality of it? Nothing has changed. Trump has achieved nothing. Trump has only broken Russia's isolation on the international stage. And in the meantime, Russia just keeps pushing up on the front line and attacking and killing civilians. That is the reality of the situation. Nothing has changed in a positive direction in this war due to Trump's peace talks. It has only actually changed for the worse, considering that how the United States under Trump approaches support for Ukraine.
Ukraine wants the international community to act stronger in response to attacks like these. Ukraine wants further sanctions, not just on Russia, but secondary sanctions placed on Russia's oil partners.
The United States will not do it. Trump does not want to upset his friend Vladimir, and the European Union is a, so far, toothless organization, let me just put it that way. The European Union should be much more firm. The European Union should be much more decisive in its action, especially now that the United States has effectively backstabbed Ukraine.
Which Ukraine sees as Russia using as a vital lifeline to continue attacks like this against Ukrainian civilians with impunity. It's Oz Kataji reporting from Kyiv for TV.
Let's see if we have some quotes. The attack drew censure from world leaders, with the UK summoning the Russian ambassador and Prime Minister Keir Starmer accusing Moscow of sabotaging hopes of peace. Well, talk is cheap. Russia will never care about their ambassadors and ministers being called for a stern talk. Russia will never care about that. Russia only understands action. It will never care about diplomatic outcries. It will never care about condemnation. It will just continue what it has been doing for years now. It's a very naive view to think that something will change in that regard. While the world seeks a path to peace, Russia responds with missiles. Kalas posted on the X platform, the overnight attack on Kyiv shows a deliberate choice to escalate and mock the peace efforts. Russia must stop the killing and negotiate. I'm sorry, talk is cheap. It is very easy to angrily says what should happen, but if you cannot enforce it with action, that will never happen. You will never get what you want with Russia unless you're willing to pressure it in some way, be it via very painful sanctions or changing the situation on the battlefield in Ukraine's favor. Terror and barbarism. France's President Emmanuel Macron denounced the assault as terror and barbarism. 629 missiles and drones in a single night over Ukraine. This is Russia's idea of peace. Terror and barbarism. More than a dozen dead, including children. Residential areas and civilian infrastructure deliberately targeted. So, in other words, all the European Union leaders have strongly condemned. I'm not sure what decisive form of reaction will follow it, but we will see. I doubt anything will change. I doubt this will cause anything of substance to happen. It's just a very disappointing development. I'm just very disappointed, as always. Some turn a blind eye. President Zelensky also used X as a platform to blast Russia and its allies, accusing Moscow of choosing war over peace and calling for stronger sanctions. Russia chooses ballistics instead of the negotiating table. He wrote, Russia still takes advantage of the fact that at least part of the world turns a blind eye to murdered children and seeks excuses for Putin. The post continued. Moscow responds. Moscow denied it was trying to scupper peace talks by saying it remains interested in negotiations but continues its special military operation regardless, because this is openly saying that, mind you, targeting civilians, murdering children is a deliberate part of the Russia's special military operation. Just keep that in mind. This is what de facto it means. We continue to bomb civilians as part of our special military operation. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Russian forces had targeted military and military-related infrastructures, which he said were successfully destroyed. I know a different country that uses this sort of rhetoric. At the same time, Russia remains interested in continuing the negotiation process in order to achieve our goals through political and diplomatic means, he said, reiterating Moscow's refrain that its forces do not target civilians, which is bullshit. It absolutely does. The human safari in Kherson. Are you really trying to sell me that this is not targeting civilians when drones drop explosives on citizens of Kherson? Is that really a thing that Russia will try to bold-faced lie about? I recently saw a video of a person going out with their dog and a Russian drone throwing out explosives at them. The man scrambling to run away with his terrified dog that just froze in place and he had to drag it by the leash. It's horrible. And Russia will just turn around and say, no, we're not targeting civilians. That's not happening. That's not happening at all. And we're super interested in peace. We'd like to negotiate. In addition to Kyiv, air raid sirens sounded in other regions across Ukraine, on Wednesday night, many of them far from the eastern and southern front lines, which is a jab at the United Kingdom, at England, that started turning away Ukrainian refugees, saying that Ukraine is very safe in the western regions. The national power grid operators stated that energy infrastructure had been damaged and that approximately 60,000 homes were without electricity. So as you can see, this is how the peace process is proceeding. The United States gets nothing done. The European Union is pretty ineffective in its push to force Russia into meaningful negotiation. In the meantime, Russia just stalls for more and more time, keeps attacking Ukrainian cities and pushing on the front line, and rejects any ideas of a ceasefire. That is the reality on the ground in Ukraine. And I think that we should all be unhappy about this development.